How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new news roundup video. Today we're talking about quite a few things, including a brand new Joker 2 casting, the Flash movie prequel comic, which teases some cool lead-up stuff, of which a lot of us suspected for the Flash movie involving Batman. We have a new dark horror Batman adjacent movie possibly coming to DC in the future from the Barbarian director. We also have some D23 news to go over, which I didn't really cover at the time, such as the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer and some other Marvel things. On top of all of this, we have some Netflix's The Witcher news, Superman and Lois's new Superman suit, of which makes me very happy, and I believe some light news on CW's Gotham Knights. For those of you wondering about my thoughts on the Lex Luthor and Titans synopsis and Doom Patrol stuff, I will be doing a video on that this Friday. Sorry for the delay in that, but just keep an eye on the channel for then. Without wasting too much more time, guys, if you're enjoying these news roundup videos, you can let me know through leaving a like, and do consider subscribing for more news, reviews, updates, and everything like that across all of your favorite things, because we cover quite a bunch here. So today, we're going to start off with the Joker 2 Folie à Deux casting, and the Hollywood Reporter headline is as follows: Joker Folie à Deux cast Jacob Lofland in key Arkham Asylum role. So they go on to say that rising actor Jacob Lofland has nabbed a key role in Joker Folie à Deux, the sequel to the Oscar-winning and billion-dollar grossing film Joker that starred Joaquin Phoenix and was directed by Todd Phillips. Phoenix and Phillips are back in their respective roles for the new project, centered on the infamous Batman villain, and are being joined by Lady Gaga, Brendan Gleeson, and Catherine Keener on the call sheet. Now, as for the role, this is what's interesting, and it could be a completely original character, but what they're saying is, in a key supporting role, Lofland will play an inmate at the asylum who develops a relationship with Arthur Fleck, aka the Joker. Phillips wrote the script with Joker co-writer Scott Silver. Production is due to begin November with shoots in Los Angeles and New York. I mean, obviously we knew we were going to get new casting for the movie, but as we know, most of this movie apparently takes place in Arkham Asylum. That makes sense because the end of the first movie saw Arthur Fleck in Arkham, with us all wondering, was it in his head? How much of it was true? And obviously Lady Gaga joins the second movie to become a psychologist, Harleen Quinzel. Folie à Deux, a madness, a shared madness, if you will. So they're low-key adapting Mad Love here in their own musical way, I suppose. Now, the role of Lofland playing an inmate at Arkham Asylum who develops this kind of relationship with Arthur is very interesting. Maybe they're just up to no good, possibly feeding off of each other's chaos in a way. I wonder if Lofland will be as disturbed as Arthur Fleck. Maybe he's gonna leave some bloody footprints behind, just like Arthur did at the end of the first movie. But other than that, as to who his character could really be, what inmate, if they're even gonna make it an inmate from that of a known DC character in the comics, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. But let me know what you think of this. Is there any particular role that you have in mind for Jacob Lofland? Or let me know any ideas you think that this inmate could have in general with this relationship that he and Arthur have throughout their stay in Arkham. I mean, I think it is just going to be a murderous buddy, perhaps, a very disturbed individual, but who knows. Now, in some other DC news, we have the prequel comic to the Flash movie. As we know, we've got like a Black Adam tie-in comic. I think it's a bit of a prequel. And this one is going into the Flash, which is pretty cool because you get to see him actually using his powers. He seems a bit more proficient than what he did in what we've seen with Ezra Miller's Barry in the movies. Now, this is just a small update, and it basically confirms what we knew already, because Andy Muschietti did reveal that Barry Allen's new suit was gifted to him by his friend Bruce, but obviously people were wondering, well, does that mean the Michael Keaton Bruce or the Ben Affleck Bruce? But I was thinking it's the Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne because he's already his friend. Technically, Michael Keaton isn't the friend Bruce. Plus, could he even come up with the tech that Batfleck's version could? But either way, the Flash Film News Twitter page posted this tweet saying, "The Flash, the fastest man alive, issue 1 prequel comic confirms Bruce Wayne and Alfred gift Barry Allen the new suit." And in this image, you can see that happening. You can see Batfleck's Bruce say to Barry, "You're the best kind, the kind that gets back up and keeps fighting. The Flash isn't gone, his story's just beginning." And that's a little gift from Alfred and me to usher in that new era. I'm quite interested to have a look at this myself. I haven't read it myself. In fact, I think it's only just released. So if any of you have had a chance to check out this issue 1, let me know, and would you like to see me make a video on it perhaps if I were to get my hands on it. But up next we have some very interesting news, and this was brought to my attention on a live stream I did last night. Now this is coming from comicbook.com, and the headline is that Barbarian director reveals Batman spin-off movie for DC Films. So they go on to say, Barbarian director Zach Cregger is enjoying his new horror film being at the top of the box in its opening weekend, but his plans for the future extend all the way to the DC Films universe. In a new interview for Barbarian's release, Zach Cregger spoke about what he's working on next. One project is a new horror film that's way more ambitious and weirder than Barbarian. The other is a film that is set in the DC universe and would be a Batman adjacent thing. Now that has me very intrigued. Obviously this is extremely ambiguous, but let's go on to read out exactly what the director had to say. The thing I'd love to do next, I actually wrote a movie that takes place in the DC universe, believe it or not, which is so normally not my thing. I'm not a superhero guy, but I just couldn't stop thinking about this one story. That kind of, this is the interesting part, that kind of takes place in like a Batman adjacent thing. And so I wrote it and I'm like utterly obsessed with it. So one day I want to make that. So, a Batman adjacent thing. The first thing I think of there is that obviously this movie that he's written isn't exactly centering around Batman, but this horror-esque flick that he's really utterly obsessed with, as he says himself. It's set in the DC universe, Batman adjacent, could be another movie, and this is what I'm thinking. You know, when we had Todd Phillips's Joker and we heard that it was meant to start this new black label, kind of like the comics, but the black label of DC movies, people were thinking, oh man, it would be really cool to like do a psychological character study of Lex Luthor or Deathstroke, get into his origin there. Well, maybe this is the first news since Joker of perhaps another Elseworlds type character study film, Batman adjacent, so maybe it could be diving into another one of his rogues gallery. Considering it's horror, you would have to think that the core character isn't exactly a hero going throughout a horror movie with one of Batman's villains, because then you may as well make it Batman as a hero and going up against one of his rogues gallery members. So this tells me that it's meant to mimic the Joker thing. It's likely a horror film that's meant to mirror the success of Joker, but also be very unique, not just a clone, copy and paste. Oh, you know, we did like a character study on Joker, Arthur Fleck. Oh, let's now do this one, which is Batman adjacent. I have a little bit more optimism that it's got its own identity, but I would want to give the floor to you guys now. What do you think this could be? Do you agree with me that if it's Batman adjacent, we could be getting another character study movie, perhaps with someone off the top of my head like Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter? That's really random, but the fact that it's horror, you have to think about who this could be about. Now, as far as development, this is also another interesting aspect. Obviously, it hasn't been greenlit, it's not in production, it's, I think, in discussion / in active development. With regards to, he said that he's working on it and that it's like a new project. He's actually written it and he actually wants to do this next and make it one day. So to me, this kind of tells me that some light discussions have been had at Warner Brothers Discovery with Zach Cregger, and maybe they're thinking, okay, you know, let's see what you come up with and then, you know, pitch it kind of thing. So I don't think it's, you know, full steam ahead or anything like that, but he's written it, he's so obsessed with it, and it is set within the DC universe. It's Batman adjacent, so whether the wheels start rolling with this one, only time will tell. But I think, as per what David Zaslav has said, you know, the Batman films like Joker exemplify exactly what they want to do in the future. Well, they're probably thinking, hey, let's hire very talented, popular writers, directors right now to come up with new visions. And I think what he's written here with this new horror-esque, way weirder, more ambitious movie could be the next flick with regards to the black label side of Elseworlds DC movies. But that's all I've got to say about it. Let me know if you have any suggestions for any kind of characters or what kind of movie you think this could be, especially keeping in mind Batman adjacent. So up next, coming out of D23, we've had a few announcements and I have like some thoughts on D23. I'm not trying to rain on the parade here. I just didn't think they gave us nearly as much as what we could. I mean, obviously, we got this brilliant concept art here done by Andy Park of the Thunderbolts with the lineup of Valentina, obviously John Walker, Ghost, Red Guardian, Black Widow, Bucky, Taskmaster, and I know a lot of people are taking the piss out of this lineup a bit, and I do understand some criticisms. It's like, would Bucky really want to be, it's like, John Walker, like, I'm working with you, let alone Red Guardian. I mean, obviously, Red Guardian working for like kind of a rogue Black Ops US government thing, considering his character. So, it is what it is. I really like US Agent, and I want to see him continue. I'm just going to have to wait and see. We got the Tales of the Jedi trailer. Now, if you know me, it's not that I dislike Star Wars animations or animations in general. It just takes something quite a bit for me to get into it. Now, Tales of the Jedi, it's that kind of similar sentiment. I'm just gonna wait and see, check it out. Bad Batch was like okay to me. I didn't even finish it, so that should give you some kind of feeling as to my vibe with these animations. But I am interested to see a younger Count Dooku, Qui-Gon, and whatnot. But obviously, the highlight for me out of the Star Wars stuff was the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to do a breakdown of that at the time, as I was quite busy. And I thought it looked great. I'm a big Mandalorian fan, and I'm definitely looking forward to some more Mando and Baby Grogu action, heading back to Mandalore as we see in the trailer in a quest to redeem his Mandalorian title back, and I believe he has to go to the mines of Mandalore to do that, but that's when he's going to run into Bo-Katan. But in one way, I kind of hope that he learns from Bo-Katan's influence, because, he doesn't need to be a part of this cult version of the Mandalorian creed. Although, as I kind of hinted at, Bo-Katan is a bit dodgy herself, and it does look as though we're going to have a bit of a face-off this season, because as we see in the trailer, she is clearly restless here. She's like the leader without the birthright symbol, and that's the Darksaber. So that might very well indeed lead to a little bit of a death match between Mando and Bo-Katan, because he can't exactly just hand her the saber, because that's not the way it works. We see a lot more space battles in this trailer. Freaking Babu Frick is back. We get a lot more of his Starfighter, which looks awesome. So overall, a lot more action here, and a lot more Mandalorian action, because we see Death Watch here. We also notice that there's R5-D4 and a protocol droid that looks eerily similar to C-3PO, albeit just because he has a gold plating shelled to his protocol droid aspects doesn't necessarily make him 3PO, but I just thought I'd mention that in addition to R5. But going back to the whole D23 aspect, the reason why I felt like it was kind of underwhelming, despite, oh yeah, we got a Mando trailer, and of course we got another Andor trailer, giving us some similar footage there, so I don't really need to dive deep into that one. But, we've had shows like Star Wars Acolyte in development for quite a long time now, and I feel like we got a lot of news even before D23 with regards to castings and stuff. But at D23, I'm not saying we needed footage, I'm not saying we needed a trailer or anything like that, but given how underwhelming the reveals were in terms of like stuff, okay, yeah, Mando Season 3 trailer, but why couldn't you give us a little bit of a logline / synopsis beyond what we already know about Star Wars Acolyte? Yes, we know it takes place 100 years before the Phantom Menace, and thanks to the major trades, we got a couple of castings, but maybe give us, oh yes, but now there's this Sith Lord or this person training this person. I don't know, but just anything more. The same goes for other Marvel things as well, that they didn't have to give us concept art, or maybe they could have actually at least done that. They didn't have to give us trailers or clips for, but just what they plan to do. Hey, this is like still 3 years away, still 2 years away, but here's something for you guys to chew on. Here's a little paragraph of a synopsis. So outside of, yeah, we got a Tales of the Jedi trailer, yeah, we got the Mandalorian, you got a concept art of the Thunderbolts. If we got more stuff like the concept art from Thunderbolts with other things in development, I think that would have been fair enough. But let me know what you thought of D23. I think people expected a bit more, and it's not necessarily out of, expectations. So, they didn't meet it, so thus it sucks or anything. It's more that we've had a lot more from D23 beforehand. And then you get to this year and it's like, okay, Mando trailer that I think was shown at Star Wars Celebration before or whatever. And yeah, you get the gist. But let me know if you disagree or agree with me. In other news, The Witcher Season 3 has wrapped filming, but we have news on future Witcher seasons. So this is coming out of RedanianIntelligence.com, and they report that The Witcher Season 4 and 5 will be written and filmed back to back, which is pretty insane. Also, just given the fact that we know that The Witcher Season 3 has wrapped recently, it's quite encouraging to know that coming out of this report, if you're worried about future seasons, well, they're apparently planning to film Season 4 and Season 5 back to back, which is also quite intense because I believe, as they get into in the report here, a Witcher season usually takes 5 to 6-ish months, give or take, to film. So the fact that the actors are, filming season 4 and 5 back to back, that would entail quite a tiring, grueling year plus, give or take, shoot. So, fair enough. I mean, that's pretty awesome that they're doing that, but at the same time, I bet the cast are like, oh my god, not gonna have any break. I mean, obviously they might have a little 2-week break or something like that. That would still be seen as back-to-back, but that's pretty intense. Not much else to say on Witcher, but I will be covering it this year. I do apologize that I never got my review out for Season 2, but I was covering production up until Season 2, so I'll be doing the same with regards to trailers and everything like that, so stay subscribed for anything on The Witcher Season 3 and 4 and 5. Okay, so in the second to last story today, we have a little bit of an update on Superman and Lois Season 3. What's really cool about this one is that I've always liked the Superman and Lois suit. I know there's mixed opinions, as there always is, but they've given it another subtle upgrade for Season 3. And on Twitter last night, the Superman and Lois fandom got pretty excited about this subtly upgraded suit. So as you can see here, we've got what I've always wanted for this suit. And I'm looking at it on my screen right now. That's quite a raised emblem. One that's a little bit more 3D. I don't think it's, as pronounced as Brandon Routh's Superman Return emblem, but it looks so much better for it, because previously it was as though that it was kind of printed on the material of Superman's suit, but now it's a lot more noticeable. It has a lot more of a physical symbol that slightly extrudes out of the suit. We do have some other subtle designs, like a little bit of muscle padding that seems to be a bit more defined, a slightly improved belt as well with an S on it now, and I just think that looks badass. And the straps have a little bit more of an elegant design, if you will, with some yellow trimming on there, so it still looks the same. Some people might not notice the difference, but I mean, I think with the S, you should definitely notice the difference, but it's one of those subtle yet big improvements, in my opinion. And even then, I think that the blue, as I'm looking at it now, seems to be a bit more vibrant. I do wonder if it was kind of the case that way before, but I do think it is a bit more vibrant here. And the reason why I questioned it is because Superman and Lois tend to have quite a green filter applied to their episodes, which is why you've always had that greenish kind of hue to Superman's suit in all of the previous episodes of the past couple of seasons. So I am wondering if it will appear as blue as what we're seeing with this new suit, given that green filter is what will still be applied in the episodes of Season 3. But regardless, it looks awesome. So all that's left to ask is, what do you guys think of the new and improved Superman suit for Superman and Lois Season 3? And lastly, guys, for today's video, very, very quickly here, and more CW news. And you remember that Gotham Knights trailer? Apparently Season 1 has begun filming now. I mean, they already filmed the pilot, but then there was a little bit of this interim period where people thought that maybe it got cancelled, but it didn't actually get cancelled. And here we have the Gotham Knights co-creator, writer, and executive producer Natalie Abrams. She went on Twitter to post this little picture of a chair with the Gotham Knights logo on it, saying, "Day 1 of production on Gotham Knights, let's do this." So it's most definitely going forward. As you know, we got Misha Collins, who played Castiel in Supernatural, playing Harvey Dent. We've got Bruce Wayne dead in it. I have no idea how Batman died. I have a theory that maybe Harvey Dent, the district attorney, did it himself, because we know he's got to become Two-Face at the end of a year or something, as Misha Collins teased. But they are nonetheless pressing forward, and they're getting into episode 2, 3, and whatnot as of right now. Well, kind of day 1 shooting on production of Gotham Knights. But let me know, are you excited for it? I'm really not one to harshly judge, but my thoughts on this show, and you may have heard me say this before, the reason why I'm not optimistic about it whatsoever is that I do feel like that long trailer, it was more like a sizzle reel, gave us a very good impression of the show. The vibe, the characters, the tone, the way characters interact, it was all there. Now, I haven't seen the episode, I know, but my ultimate thoughts on it is that after Superman and Lois season 1, it felt like the CW did step up a bar in quality. It didn't have that kind of cringy CW kind of show vibe. The writing and the format, the way the formulaic approach to episodes and structure to Superman and Lois that was given was a lot better. The Stargirl fit in quite nicely because it came from DC Universe, so that already felt to be on a similar level. So when you get the Gotham Knights trailer with that kind of CW music again and the kind of cheesy aspects of it, it does feel like, oh, you just took 2 steps forward with Superman and Lois and whatnot, where it felt like, okay, this cinematic, slightly better quality CW show, it will be the new precedent going forward. But then, oh, CW Gotham Knights, and it kind of takes 4 or 5 steps back, in my opinion. It feels like this would be perfectly matched and suited if we were like 6 or 7 years ago and it released in the Arrowverse as of then, if that makes sense, 2014 or something like that. But no, it's coming out now, and I don't know, man. Like, it's the same thing with Naomi, and it didn't feel like the new caliber that they set with Superman and Lois. I'll be checking it out anyway, just to give my thoughts on episode 1 of Gotham Knights, but will you be checking it out? Let me know. And that basically wraps up today's news roundup video. So let me know what you think of each and every story, guys. Very intrigued to see some of your thoughts on that first one with the Joker 2 character, the inmate who is friends with Arthur Fleck. Then obviously the DC horror movie or whatever's coming in the future there, and everything else. I would really appreciate a like on this video if you got this far, especially if you got this far. Hit that thumbs up button, takes 2 seconds. Check if you're subscribed, consider subscribing if you're not. Links as always are in the description down below, but thank you for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.